As the years pass, maintaining physical activity becomes paramount for preserving health and extending life. However, as scientific research convincingly demonstrates, an incorrect approach to choosing physical exercises after the age of 65 can lead to undesirable and even dangerous consequences. Among these are an increased risk of injury, deterioration of cardiovascular system functionality, and ultimately, a reduction in lifespan. Statistical data provided by the National Institute on Aging indicate a concerning trend. Inappropriate physical exertion increases the likelihood of hospitalization for older adults by nearly 50%. This figure is alarming. Many types of physical activity traditionally considered beneficial can actually accelerate joint wear, create excessive stress on the heart muscle and blood vessels, impair balance, and provoke falls. The latter, in turn, pose a real threat to the lives of people over 65. Examples include intense long-distance running, or weightlifting without proper preparation and supervision from specialists. However, there's no need to despair. Properly selected physical exercises have enormous potential, not only for extending life, but also for improving cognitive functions, preserving mobility, and maintaining independence for many years. Regular yoga, swimming, or Nordic walking, adapted to the individual needs and capabilities of an older person, can provide a solid foundation for active and fulfilling longevity. As time passes and the numbers on our passports relentlessly increase, the issue of maintaining physical fitness becomes particularly relevant. However, not all types of physical activity are equally beneficial, and some can even cause significant harm to the body in old age. We will discuss exercises to avoid and activities that will be reliable allies on the path to longevity and good health. So, what exercises should you eliminate from your fitness program if you want to maintain health and mobility for many years? First on the list of undesirable exercises is high-impact running. In youth, jogging or sprinting can be a great way to stay in shape, strengthen the cardiovascular system, and simply improve mood. However, the situation changes with age. The body undergoes natural aging processes. Bones become more brittle, joints lose their former flexibility, and cartilage thins. In these conditions, running, especially on hard surfaces, becomes a source of microtraumas and increased stress on the joints. While running may seem like a harmless way to maintain tone, it subtly accelerates joint wear, provoking the development of arthritis and other musculoskeletal disorders. Thus, high-impact running becomes a hidden enemy for older adults, gradually undermining their health. The Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy published a study that revealed a direct correlation between high-impact running and an increased risk of knee and hip joint injuries in individuals over 65. According to the data obtained, the probability of damage increases by a substantial 58%. This type of physical activity creates significant stress on the joints, as each step taken on a hard surface generates a powerful shock wave that exerts tremendous pressure on joints already weakened by age-related changes. Of particular concern is that older adults often experience a decrease in proprioception, a complex mechanism that allows the body to sense its position in space and maintain stability. Weakening this function significantly increases the likelihood of stumbling, falling, and consequently sustaining serious injuries such as fractures and dislocations. In addition to the potential damage to the musculoskeletal system, high-impact running can negatively affect the cardiovascular system. As we age, blood vessels lose their elasticity, and the sharp fluctuations in heart rate and blood pressure that inevitably occur during intense runs can lead to overexertion of the heart muscle and even trigger the development of dangerous conditions such as stroke or myocardial infarction. The National Institute on Aging warns that excessive stress on the cardiovascular system in old age, especially in the presence of hidden heart pathologies, can provoke serious complications and deterioration of health. For individuals over 65, intense physical exercise, particularly running, can pose real threats. Running on hard surfaces like concrete or asphalt is especially dangerous. The impact from each step has a destructive effect on the vulnerable tissues of the knee and hip joints as well as the spine. This, in turn, can lead to the development of chronic conditions like osteoarthritis, which can significantly reduce a senior's quality of life, preventing them from leading an active lifestyle. While joint inflammation in young athletes usually subsides relatively quickly, the recovery process slows down in older adults, meaning even a minor injury can lead to prolonged disability. The psychological aspect should not be overlooked. Older adults often experience feelings of frustration and depression when a once-loved activity that brought joy and pleasure becomes a source of pain and constant fear of new injuries. This can lead to decreased self-esteem, social isolation, and, consequently, a decline in overall mental well-being. The feeling of losing former health and physical abilities can cause discouragement and demotivate a person from continuing to exercise. This, in turn, can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, which contradicts previous aspirations for active longevity. In this situation, the optimal solution is to reorient towards alternative forms of physical activity characterized by reduced impact. For example, brisk walks on forest trails, swimming in a pool, or cycling can provide the necessary stimulation for the cardiovascular system without subjecting the musculoskeletal system to excessive stress. It is important to emphasize that this is not about giving up physical activity altogether, but about a reasonable adaptation to the new conditions and needs of the body. This approach allows you to maintain mobility, independence, and vitality for many years. Strength training with heavy weights is traditionally associated with physical strength, endurance, and vitality. In young adulthood, such exercises do promote muscle mass gain and improve overall physical fitness. However, for older adults, especially those over 65, weightlifting can pose a hidden danger. In this age group, the risks associated with improper exercise technique or excessive load far outweigh the potential benefits unless strict precautions are taken and individual body characteristics are considered. The relentless passage of time leaves its mark on the human body, leading to a natural decrease in the elasticity of muscle tissues, a reduction in bone density, and a weakening of the functionality of the cardiovascular system. In this regard, a passion for weightlifting, characterized by tremendous pressure on systems weakened by age-related changes, seems like a very risky undertaking. The authoritative American Geriatric Society warns that older adults who prefer high-intensity strength training using significant weights are at increased risk of sudden spikes in blood pressure, damage to blood vessels, and even serious cerebrovascular complications, including strokes. The heart, undergoing age-related changes and often facing subtle but insidious problems such as atherosclerosis or minor valve dysfunction, may not be able to adequately respond to the sharp increase in blood pressure provoked by lifting excessive weights. In addition to potential cardiovascular complications, there are also serious concerns about the risks associated with the musculoskeletal system. Tendons and ligaments, which lose their natural elasticity over the years, become more vulnerable to tears and sprains under extreme stress, which significantly increases the likelihood of injuries and prolonged recovery. Excessive zeal in the gym, expressed in excessive loads during bench presses or weightlifting, poses a serious threat to health, especially in adulthood. Such overloads are fraught with rotator cuff injuries, spinal compression fractures, and knee ligament ruptures. Injuries that, in old age, turn into a long and painful process, often not leading to complete recovery. In addition to the obvious risks, there is also a hidden danger lurking for older adults in the world of strength training. Impaired proprioception, that is, the ability to sense the position of one's body in space, and slowed reflexes. As a result, losing balance while performing heavy squats or failing to release the weight in time when muscles give out can lead to catastrophic falls, concussions, and serious orthopedic injuries. Hospital statistics show a disturbing trend. Over the past decade, there has been a sharp increase in the number of weightlifting-related falls among older adults. This unfortunate trend is directly related to the growing popularity of uncontrolled strength training in gyms among the older generation. The potential psychological damage should not be overlooked either. Feelings of frustration due to the lost ability to cope with previous loads, embarrassment caused by the injuries sustained, and concerns about further deterioration of well-being can push many older people to completely abandon physical activity. Such a step, unfortunately, deprives them of the invaluable benefits that regular movement provides, and as a result, only accelerates the process of physical decline. After all, movement is life, and its absence, on the contrary, brings old age and infirmity closer. However, the above does not serve as a reason to completely forget about strength training. On the contrary, properly selected, light and moderate loads using small weights, elastic bands, or exercises using body weight can bring enormous benefits. They help maintain muscle tone in optimal condition, improve coordination and balance, and strengthen bone tissue, while eliminating the destructive risks inevitably associated with weightlifting. The main thing is a reasonable approach and consultation with a specialist. As for plyometric exercises, these high-intensity jumping movements, special caution should be exercised. Exercises such as box jumps, jump squats, and burpees are often presented as a miraculous way to preserve youthful energy and agility. However, despite their attractiveness, it is necessary to remember the potential risks, especially for older people. For young athletes, plyometric exercises serve as a powerful tool for cultivating strength, honing coordination, and increasing speed. However, for elderly people, especially those over 65, plyometrics can be a treacherous trap, fraught with serious and even life-threatening injuries. Over the years, the complex mechanisms responsible for maintaining balance, ensuring joint stability, and the speed of reflexes deteriorate. Even those elderly people who feel full of strength and lead an active lifestyle are not immune to these imperceptible but inexorable changes. Data collected by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, show that falls are the leading cause of injury and death in old age. At the same time, a significant proportion of these falls are due to sudden, unstable movements that threaten balance and joint integrity. Plyometric exercises, which require enormous explosive power from the muscles, can pose a serious danger to older people. With age, tendons and ligaments lose their elasticity, become more fragile, and, as a result, are extremely vulnerable to tears and sprains during sudden loads. Even a slight jump can transmit enormous stress through the knee joints, hip area, and lower spine, which is especially dangerous in the context of age-related degeneration, such as osteoarthritis or spinal stenosis. A failed attempt to jump onto a platform, an awkward landing after jumping out of a squat, or a simple stumble can lead to serious consequences. A hip fracture, a radius fracture, a traumatic brain injury, or a severe spinal injury. Recovery from such incidents, even with a favorable outcome, is usually lengthy, painful, and associated with irreversible loss of independence. The psychological consequences of injuries should not be discounted either. After a severe fall or serious injury, many older people face a debilitating fear of any movement, which in medicine is called post-traumatic anxiety syndrome. This deep-seated fear becomes a catalyst for a sedentary lifestyle, which in turn triggers a chain of negative consequences. Muscles gradually atrophy, balance deteriorates, and social isolation increases. Such a downward spiral has a devastating effect, shortening not only years of life, but also its quality, depriving a person of joy and fulfilling existence. However, this does not mean that older people should completely abandon physical activity and avoid any dynamic movements. Conversely, moderate exercises aimed at developing balance, careful agility, and coordination exercises, and low-impact physical activities such as Tai Chi are a safe and effective way to improve movement coordination and strengthen stability. It is important to emphasize that we are talking about choosing activities that do not carry the risks associated with, for example, plyometric exercises. Taking care of your body in adulthood is not about giving up an active life, but about making informed and balanced decisions that will help maintain strength, mobility, and self-esteem for many years to come. It is an investment in the future, allowing you to remain vigorous, independent, and full of life. It is necessary to carefully consider the choice of physical activity, avoiding traumatic exercises. However, it is equally important to consider which activities should be integrated into daily life to strengthen physical stability, stimulate cognitive functions, and, as a result, increase the duration of a healthy and active life. The following will discuss one of the key exercises that, according to reputable scientists, should become an integral part of every elderly person's life. This exercise has the potential not only to add years to life, but also to fill each day with the joy of movement and a sense of fulfillment. Special attention will be paid to 3 types of physical activity that are particularly beneficial for older people. The first is brisk walking. Extending life with every step is the motto of this simple but effective exercise. Brisk walking may seem unassuming and even banal at first glance, but for older people it is nothing less than a real lifesaver, capable of significantly improving quality of life and overall health. In the rapidly changing world of fitness innovations, where bizarre trends come and go, brisk walking invariably stands out as a time-tested and scientifically sound elixir of youth. This simple but effective method of physical activity can not only maintain vitality, but also act as a reliable shield for the cardiovascular system, as well as significantly extend active longevity. Authoritative studies conducted by scientists at Harvard Medical School convincingly demonstrate that regular brisk walking, taking only half an hour a day, can reduce the risk of premature death from any cause by an impressive 41%. Just think, no complicated equipment, no expensive medications, just the steady, invigorating rhythm of your own steps, carrying a charge of health and longevity. Over time, as blood circulation naturally slows down, muscles lose their former strength, and the sense of balance becomes less reliable. Brisk walking acts as a powerful counteracting factor. It strengthens the heart muscle, gradually increasing cardiovascular endurance without the risk of sudden spikes in blood pressure. In addition, it tones the muscles of the lower extremities, hips, and torso, thereby maintaining the functional strength necessary to perform everyday tasks and maintain independence in old age. Regular brisk walks have a beneficial effect on bone tissue, actively counteracting the development of osteoporosis, an insidious disease that gradually reduces bone density and undermines the independence of many people. This ailment, which often goes unnoticed, deprives a person of the opportunity to move fully and lead an active lifestyle. However, the benefits of brisk walking are not limited to physical health. It has a stimulating effect on cognitive functions and emotional state. Studies conducted by neurobiologists at the University of California, Irvine, convincingly prove that regular walks at an energetic pace help improve memory, increase concentration, and reduce the likelihood of developing dementia. During walking, the brain receives an increased flow of blood, enriched with oxygen, which stimulates the production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, responsible for good mood and emotional well-being. Thus, it can be argued with confidence that walking not only prolongs life, but also fills it with bright colors and positive emotions. And perhaps most importantly, brisk walking is an accessible and democratic type of physical activity. Almost everyone, regardless of age, level of physical fitness, and financial status, can include it in their daily lives and experience its many benefits. A sun-drenched stroll along park paths, a leisurely walk through quiet neighborhoods, or even a promenade through a shopping mall when the weather outside is raging. For older adults, every step is a triumph of independence. Walking is not just a physical activity. It's a bridge to the outside world, a connection to society, and an affirmation of the indomitable spirit that lives within each of us, regardless of age. Of course, not every walk provides the same benefit. To maximize the effect, older adults should maintain a pace that slightly increases their heart rate, but still allows them to hold a conversation. This is the optimal balance, known as moderate intensity. Comfortable shoes, safe walking routes, and a gradual increase in intensity are the three pillars upon which walking transforms into an elixir of longevity and active living. While brisk walking serves as the cornerstone of a long and healthy life, there is another vital exercise aimed at counteracting a treacherous danger that many older adults are not even aware of, a danger that insidiously deprives them of their independence. We are talking about maintaining balance. Now we will focus on a key movement that can become the most reliable ally in the fight against the leading cause of injuries among older adults. And we will reveal the secret to a confident and active life in old age. This will be about balance exercises. So, let's move on to the second important point. Balance exercises, which act as a reliable shield, protecting against falls. In the later years of life, the elementary ability to maintain an upright position turns into one of the most significant challenges people face. Balance is no longer something taken for granted. It becomes a daily triumph, and sometimes a silent struggle for independence. Unfortunately, not all older adults realize that systematic training aimed at improving balance can drastically change the quality of their lives, protecting them from painful injuries and overwhelming fear. Statistics from the National Council on Aging relentlessly show that falls for older adults are not just an annoying accident, but a serious threat, leading among the causes of both fatal and non-fatal injuries. Surprisingly, every 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 65 falls each year, and the consequences of these incidents are often catastrophic. In this regard, balance exercises are a powerful and effective prevention tool. By strengthening the body's internal stabilizing mechanisms, including the core muscles, small ankle muscles, hips, and lower back, such training restores the older adult's natural defense against accidental stumbles, slips, and sudden loss of balance. Experts say that systematic balance training has a profound impact on the nervous system, honing a person's innate ability to react instantly and self-correct, which helps prevent unwanted incidents. Simple exercises such as balancing on one leg, smooth Tai Chi movements, or mindful heel-to-toe walking can significantly improve stability in just a few weeks of regular practice. Clinical studies show an impressive reduction in the risk of falls by up to 37% through such practices. However, the beneficial effect is not limited to the physical realm. Balance training helps restore self-confidence, instilling a quiet but invaluable belief in one's own abilities. The lack of such confidence can subtly create a fear of falling, which, penetrating the daily lives of older adults, forces them to give up their favorite activities, avoid social events, or limit their activity for safety reasons. Such inactivity, in turn, leads to a weakening of the body and accelerates the process of physical deterioration. At the same time, an older person who regularly performs balance exercises regains not only physical strength, but also freedom of movement and active life. The feeling of inner freedom when fear no longer restricts movement and does not cloud the horizons of life, that is what becomes possible through targeted work on oneself. Balance exercises are particularly valuable because of their exceptional simplicity and accessibility. There is no need to spend money on gym memberships or purchase complex and expensive equipment. It is enough to find a small area of level surface, ensure the availability of a reliable support in the form of a chair, and persistently, with confidence in one's own strength, begin to strengthen one's body and spirit. By dedicating just a few minutes each day to these activities, seniors can regain the grace, stability, and confidence that time relentlessly tries to take away. While balance training effectively protects against falls and injuries, there is another hidden enemy undermining the health of older adults: muscle loss. This subtle process gradually deprives the body of strength, energy, and ultimately, independence. Next, we will present a third vital exercise that every senior should perform. This is a key method for preserving muscle strength and maintaining the body's tone and functionality for years to come: light strength training. Maintaining independence in later years requires a conscious approach. Reaching a venerable age is not merely stating a fact of longevity, but rather the art of maintaining physical and mental fortitude, allowing one to enjoy each day. However, practice shows that not everyone realizes that after the age of 60, the body begins to steadily lose muscle mass. This insidious process, known medically as sarcopenia, often occurs unnoticed, but with very noticeable consequences. Without timely intervention and measures to counteract this phenomenon, each decade can take away up to 15% of muscle strength, inevitably leading to weakening of the body, increased vulnerability, and consequently, increasing dependence on outside assistance. In this regard, regular, even light, strength training becomes particularly important, becoming one of the cornerstones of healthy aging, which unfortunately does not receive enough attention. Unlike intense workouts with heavy weights, which are usually associated with young athletes, light strength training for seniors focuses on stability, safety, and functional movements. Using light dumbbells, resistance bands, or bodyweight exercises can stimulate muscle fibers enough to maintain and even restore lost strength. A new study published in the prestigious Journal of Aging and Physical Activity convincingly demonstrates that moderate strength training, performed at least twice a week, has a comprehensive positive impact on older adults. This is not just about building muscle mass, although this is certainly an important aspect. Scientists have recorded significant improvements in balance, which is critical for preventing falls, increased bone density, reducing the risk of osteoporosis, and, interestingly, improved cognitive function, indicating mental acuity. Together, these benefits fundamentally change the quality of life in old age. The beneficial effects of strength training extend to many aspects of daily life. Strengthening leg muscles provides safer and more confident walking, allowing seniors to maintain independence and mobility longer. Strengthening arm muscles makes it easier to perform household tasks, such as carrying groceries or lifting grandchildren, which helps maintain an active lifestyle and involvement in family affairs. Strengthening core muscles provides reliable support for the spine, improves posture, and reduces the risk of back pain, which is especially important with age. Moreover, strengthening the muscular system is closely linked to strengthening bones, which is an important prevention of osteoporosis. Strength training also helps control blood sugar levels, reducing the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and increases metabolism, which unfortunately tends to slow down with age. However, in addition to the obvious physical benefits, strength training has a powerful psychological impact. It restores the sense of self-confidence lost with age and expands the boundaries of what is possible. Seniors who engage in strength training feel more independent, active, and capable of coping with the challenges of everyday life, which undoubtedly has a positive impact on their overall well-being and quality of life. Consistently incorporating light strength exercises into a training program has a noticeable impact on the well-being of older adults, filling their lives with new energy, self-confidence, and a positive outlook on the future. Such activities lead to significant changes in emotional state, because the realization that even with the passage of time, the body retains the ability to take active actions instills vigor and optimism. This is no longer a passive acceptance of the inevitability of aging, but an energetic striving to improve the quality of life. In its final stage, the appeal of light strength training lies in its versatility and accessibility, as it can be done anywhere, anytime, whether in the comfort of your home or in a specialized fitness center. The program is easily adaptable to the individual abilities and needs of each person, regardless of their fitness level. It is important to understand that success here is not measured by the number of kilograms lifted, but by the speed of recovery and return to daily activities, the ease of getting up from a chair, the stability when carrying groceries, the confidence when moving without assistance. Strength training in adulthood is not a futile attempt to turn back time. It is a sensible investment in maintaining personal independence and being able to fully enjoy each day. A positive aspect is that it is never too late to start taking care of your body and health. Now that we are aware of the 3 key exercises recommended for maintaining physical fitness in old age, a logical question arises. What everyday actions and habits can imperceptibly negate all efforts aimed at strengthening health, even if a person is unaware of it? The price of carelessness. With each passing year, every decision concerning our body becomes increasingly important. Regular physical activity, or its complete absence, will inevitably affect the quality of life in the future. For some, this will result in good health, unflagging energy, and independence, allowing them to fully enjoy an active life, travel, and pursue their favorite activities. For others, the price may be prohibitively high: lost years, unfulfilled dreams, and lost freedom of movement. Ignoring vital exercises or ingrained bad habits is not just a potential risk of muscle pain or minor injuries. It is a much more serious threat to overall health and longevity. This is a real battle with fleeting time, which could be filled with unforgettable journeys, warm meetings with loved ones, a confident walk through life, and simple but valuable joys of each day. Every successfully prevented fall, every strengthened heart, every preserved and trained muscle is not just a physical achievement. It is another year filled with a full life, vivid impressions, and the opportunity to enjoy every moment. However, it is worth remembering the other side of the coin. Neglecting the signals that the body sends, ignoring warning signs, can lead to a series of operations, a long and tiring stay in hospital wards, as well as a slow and painful fading of those abilities that previously seemed self-evident. Ultimately, the body will definitely bill for how it has been treated throughout life, and this bill will not be presented immediately, but gradually, inexorably, step by step, depriving a person of freedom of movement and the joy of life. This is where the inspiring and uplifting truth lies. Absolutely everyone has a unique opportunity to make a choice today, to determine what price they will pay tomorrow. You can make a conscious choice in favor of balance and moderation, abandoning recklessness and extremes. You can choose strength and endurance, leaving weakness and apathy behind. You can choose a life full of energy, dignity, and joy instead of a slow surrender to the inevitable. This is not about achieving unattainable perfection, about turning into an ideal of health and physical fitness. It is about awareness, about showing wisdom, and about making daily deliberate actions aimed at maintaining health and vitality. It is about listening to your body, taking care of it, and making choices in favor of an active and fulfilling life. The question of healthy aging is much more than just a question of effort. It is, in fact, a defining factor in the quality of life that awaits us in our later years. The individual choice of each person plays a decisive role here, shaping the contours of their future, starting from the present moment. These reflections are designed to be a starting point for inspiration, guiding us towards a life imbued with meaning and sincerity. However, what happens if you neglect these important signals? What are the specific consequences of inaction in this area? The answers to these questions will help everyone make an informed choice that determines their future destiny.